How's it going, everybody? How we doing? Happy Thursday to you. Break number 858 BD. We got a 6-box break of Prizm Baseball. 6-box break. Here we go. First 6 boxes of this case, we did not hit a color blast or a snake skin. Jesus Christ. Is it going to be that kind of day? Holy shnikes. That box was trying to get away. It did not want to be open. Telling you, man. These boxes are slippery little devils. Did we get 13 packs? I think we got 13 packs. Look at that's 4 stacks of 3. We got 13 packs in this one, guys. You guys are getting extra cards. Nice. Got sniped on the Guardians, but still have the Yankees. So one time only, let's go Yankees. You got it, buddy. Alright, here we go. We got Dalton rushing for the Dodgers. That is 1 out of 299. Ken Griffey Jr. on the red wave. Jim Thome on the dingers. Purple, Chandler Simpson. 106 out of 149. That is for Tampa Bay. Miguel Cabrera on the silver Prizm. Talisman of Roman Anthony. That was weird. That box had 13 packs. John Smoltz on the Pulsar. That is 373 out of 499. Our first auto of the break. That is going to the Phillies on the Mojo Auto to 25. Mojo Auto, Dante Nori. Dante Nori, 20 out of 25 for the Phillies. The Fightin' Phils. Cam Smith on the Prismatic. Chandler Simpson, that is 167 out of 299. Craig Yoho on the silver Prizm. Fireworks of Haesung Kim. Next auto, that is Jesus Made. That's a big one for the Milwaukee Brewers. Jesus Made, prospect auto, 173 out of 199. Congrats to the Brewers spot. Adam Jones on the Pulsar, 200 out of 499. Dontrell Willis Red Wave. Colson Montgomery on the Talisman. Enrique Bradfield Jr., 103 out of 199. Trey Savage for Toronto on the Silver Prism rookie. Rentaro Sasaki going to the non-MLB NIL spot. Jake Arrieta for the Cubs. That is $4.99 out of $4.99. Ryan Waldschmidt on the Silver Prism for Arizona. Chase Dollander on the Fireworks. Checkerboard, that's Pee Wee Reese for the Brooklyn Dodgers, 81 of 99. Carter Holton on the Red Wave. Christian Moore on the Fireworks. Leo DeVries, that's blue. That is 111 out of 199 for the Padres. James Woods, silver for the Nationals. Tommy White, Fireworks. That is Zach Veen on the Pulsar. Zach Veen, 74 out of 499, Colorado. Tim Hudson on the Red Wave. If this is orange, that's a possible orange firework. That is Kellen Lindsay on the Firework for the Dodgers, and that is actually gold. 2 out of 10 on the gold firework for Kellen Lindsay and the LA Dodgers. Nice hit for the Dodgers. Excuse me. Roberto Clemente on the purple. That is 46 out of 149. Edwin Encarnacion on the Silver Prism. Dingers of Vlad Guerrero Sr. Pulsar of Owen Cassé. 452 out of 499. Bert Campaneris on the Silver Prism. That is Travis Bazana on the Prismatic. Last little stack of box number 1. Jarlin Susana on the red. Talisman of Jesus Made. We have our last auto. It's another Pulsar auto. And this one is going to the Pirates. That is Mitch Jebb. Mitch Jebb on the Pulsar auto. That one is numbered 95 out of 199. 95 of 199 going to the Pirates. Jarlin Susana on the red. That is 164 out of 299. Box number 2. One, two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, box number 2. All right, box number 2. Here we go. Box number 2. Prince Fielder. That is 105 out of 299. Larry Walker, Silver Prism. Roman Anthony, Talisman. Kiki Kyler. That is 283 out of 499 for the Pirates. Aiden Miller on the Red Wave. There's a dinger of Christian Campbell. That is a blue dingers for the Red Sox. That should be to 99. 54 out of 99. Nice hit for the Red Sox. Checkerboard. J.D. Dix for the Arizona Diamondbacks, 53 of 99. Johnny Mize on the Silver Prism. Cam Smith on the Prismatic. Blue, that's Charlie Condon. 181 out of 199. Our first auto goes to the Dodgers. That is Brady Smith. Brady Smith of the Dodgers. This one is not numbered. We get a dingers of Ethan Holiday going to the non-MLB spot. Harry Ford for Seattle. That is to 499. That is 454 out of 499. Buster Posey on the Silver Prism. Jesus Made on the Prismatic. We got a Cherry Blossom coming. Cherry Blossom. That is a red Jake Peavy. Jake Peavy on the red. That is 127 out of 299. Our Cherry Blossom is Randy Johnson going to the New York Yankees. James Tibbs. That is New York Yankees, Randy Johnson, 10 out of 20. 10 out of 20. Roger Clemens for the Blue Jays. That is 169 out of 499. Ryan Sloan, Silver Prism. Dingers of Dylan Cruz. Our next auto is Enrique Bradfield Jr. going for Baltimore. Enrique Bradfield Jr. This is not numbered. Levi Sterling on the purple. That is 146 out of 149. Braylon Payne on the red wave. Leo DeVries Talisman. Yep, it's a start. Little something to start, Barnes. Only a card to 20. That is Jake Arrieta on the red. That is 239 out of 299. Matt Shaw, Silver Prism. Seaver King on the Prismatic. That is a Pulsar of Leo DeVries. Our next auto's right behind it. This Pulsar is 343 out of 499. And the next auto goes to the Minnesota Twinkies. The Twins, Brooks Lee. Brooks Lee, Minnesota. Nice hit for the Twinkies. I have no idea, dude. How are you signed in? I don't know. YouTube and eBay have been messing up a lot lately. Chase Burns on the Fireworks. That's Andrew Jones on the Green Scope, 21 of 75. Nolan Ryan, Silver Prism. Dingers of Marcelo Mayer. Yeah. We got a blue Alex Gordon. That is 101 of 199. Manny Ramirez on the red wave. Ethan Salas on the Talisman. And that is box number 2. Box number 3. Alright, box number 3. Box number 3. Here we go. Purple. That is Chase Burns for Cincinnati. 39 out of 149. Leo DeVries on the Silver Prism. Dingers of Jim Thome. That is Kevin McGonigal. Kevin McGonigal on the red. 172 out of 299. Kevin Alcantara on the red wave. That is Ryan Waldschmidt for the Diamondbacks. Ryan Waldschmidt for the Diamondbacks on the blue fireworks. Blue fireworks to 99. That is 55 out of 99 for the Diamondbacks. Pulsar, that is PJ Morlando for the Miami Marlins. That is 148 out of 499. Tom Glavine on the silver. Roman Anthony Talisman. On the checkerboard, Colin Hawk for the Mets. 81/99, and our next auto is also for the Mets. That is Alex Ramirez for the Mets. This one is not numbered. Got a prismatic of Cam Smith. Blue, Dylan Head for Miami. Blue Head for Miami, 111 out of 199. Caleb Lomavita for the Washington Nationals. Ethan Holiday for the non-MLB NIL spot on the Dingers. That is Bobby Miller. Bobby Miller, 267 out of 499. And our next Cherry Blossom goes to Kansas City. That's Carter Jensen. Carter Jensen for Kansas City on the Cherry Blossom, 9 out of 20. Jesus Made on the Prismatic. Red, that is Andy Pettitte for the Yankees. Andy Pettitte, 71 of 299. Owen Casse on the Silver Prism for the Cubs. James Tibbs for the Giants on the on the Fireworks. Excuse me. Our next auto is a nice one for Baltimore. That's Heston Kjerstad. Heston Kjerstad. Not numbered. Ryan Zimmerman on the Pulsar, 101 of 499. Mel Ott on the Red Wave for the Giants. Dylan Cruz for Washington. Purple, Bert Campaneris for the A's. Bert Campaneris, 115 out of 149. Christy Mathewson, that is for the Giants on the Silver Prism. Leo DeVries Talisman. That's a red, Tony La Russa. Tony La Russa for the Cardinals. That is number 281 out of 299. And for the Padres, Boston Bateman on the auto, not numbered. Boston Bateman. Seaver King on the Prismatic. Shinosuke Ogasawara for Washington on the Pulsar, 167 out of 499. Jarlin Susanna Silver. Fireworks of Chase Burns. We're going to And box number 3, we got a green scope coming. And that one is for the Dodgers. Koshing Shane. That is going to be 12 out of 75. 12 of 75. We got Yadi Molina on the red wave. And a dingers of Marcelo Mayer for the Red Sox. Box number 4. Still no color blast or snake skin out of this case. All right, box number 4. Here we go. Purple. That's Thomas Harrington. Thomas Harrington, our first auto right here is a Pulsar auto. Thomas Harrington, purple is 126 of 149. Our auto. That's going to Seattle. That's Durangelo Cinchte. That is numbered what is that? 194 out of 199. 194 of 199. Dylan Cruz on the dingers. Johnny Farmello for Seattle. That is 179 out of 299. Colt Keith on the silver prism. Talisman of Leo DeVries. We got a Mojo and a green scope. Seaver King on the prismatic. Green scope goes to the Dodgers. That is Josue De Paula. Josue De Paula, 55 of 75. The Mojo rookie also goes to the Dodgers. That is Dalton Rushing. Dalton Rushing, 19 out of 25 for the Dodgers. Dodgers are having a solid break so far. We got a red Earl Combs. That's for the New York Yankees. 197 out of 299. Dylan Head for Miami silver. Chase Burns on the fireworks. There's Bryce McCage. Bryce McCage for Milwaukee. 353 out of 499. We got Harry Ford on the red wave. And it looks like we have a prismatic of Christian Campbell for the Red Sox. This one I believe is red to 199. It is 61 out of 199. 61 of 199. Red prismatic Christian Campbell. Pulsar, Bubba Chandler for Pittsburgh. 230 out of 499. Darren Baker, Silver Prism for Washington. Marcelo Mayer on the Dingers. Orange to 49. That's Greg Maddux. Greg Maddux for the Atlanta Braves. 13 out of 49. Our next auto goes to the Chicago Cubs. That's Jackson Wiggins. Jackson Wiggins on the auto. Talisman, Ethan Salas. Blue, Kellen Lindsey back at the Dodgers. 30 out of 199. Mel out for the Giants on the silver. We got Cam Caminiti on the fireworks. We got Jacob Wilson on the Talisman. Yogi Berra for the Yankees on the Pulsar. That is 428 out of 499. Bobby Witt Jr. on the Red Wave to finish box. Oh, not finish box 4. We still got one more stack. What am I thinking? Guys, you got to keep me in check. Last stack of box 4. Here we go. Purple, Randy Johnson. That's going again to the Yankees. 75 out of 149. Albert Pujols on the Silver Prism. Christian Campbell on the Prismatic. Our next auto goes to the Yankees. That is George Lombard Jr. on the Prismatic. On the Prism Auto. Prism Prospect Auto. We got Tim Hudson, that is red. Tim Hudson, that is 11 out of 299. Hagen Smith on the Red Wave. Got Cam Smith on the fireworks. Tom Glavine on the Pulsar for Atlanta. 94 of 499. PJ Morlando silver. Vance Honeycutt on the Dingers. And that is box number 4. 2 boxes to go. This is box number 5. Box number 5. Okay. Alright, box number 5. We're still hunting, and I think we have found our box with at least a snakeskin and possible color blast. There's the color blast. Color Blast, and it's a rookie Color Blast. Rookie Color Blast incoming. Good luck to everybody. There's our snake skin. There's our snake skin, and we found our Color Blast. Color Blast and snake skin incoming. Good luck, everybody. Box number 5. Our first auto goes to the Tampa Bay Rays. That's Theo Gillen. Theo Gillen of Tampa Bay Rays on the sensational signature. We got Cooper Pratt for Milwaukee. Cooper Pratt, 134 out of 149. Thomas Sagasi on the Red Wave. Talisman of Dylan Cruz. Jordan Lawler. We also have another auto right here behind Jordan Lawler. We got a Dingers of Jay Slavalek going to the NIL spot. Jordan Lawler on the Pulsar, 240 out of 499, and our auto goes to the Arizona Diamondbacks. That's Ryan Waldschmidt. Ryan Waldschmidt on the Prizm Prospect auto. Leo DeRocher, that's for the Cubs, 260 out of 299. Braylon Doty, that's for Cleveland on the Silver Prizm. Christian Moore for the Angels. Al Kaline, that's going to Detroit. Al Kaline, 26 out of 299. Dante Nori, Silver Prizm for Phillies. Christian Moore on the Fireworks. Eddie Collins for the White Sox. That is 389 out of 499. Jesus Made on the Red Wave. Dingers of Rentaro Sasaki to the NIL spot. Talisman, that's Colson Montgomery for the White Sox. Got a checkerboard of Kellen Lindsey for the Dodgers. Griff O'Farrell, that is a Silver Prizm for Baltimore. Kellen Lindsey, 36 out of 99. Second two stacks, we're going to have a checkerboard. Should have one more auto. We also have a green scope. Here we go. Mike Schmidt. That is 19 out of 75 for the Phillies. Ethan Salas for the Padres, silver. Aiden Miller for the Phillies on the Prismatic. Ko Shing Shane for the Dodgers. That is 90 out of 499. Cliff Lee for the Texas Rangers, silver. Dingers of Vlad Sr. Fireworks, Tommy White. Ken Griffey Jr. for Cincinnati is blocking our checkerboard. Our checkerboard is a right side up. So let's check it. We got a rookie. Rookie with a red hat. Rookie with a red hat. That is for Cleveland Guardians, and that is Andrew Walters. Nice rookie. That's a good hit for Cleveland. On the checkerboard. That's a nice one right there. Good rookie hit. Now we got our last auto, which is a redemption. That is Tyson Neighbors for the Padres. 433 out of 499. Aaron Escobar for the Phillies, silver. Jesus Made, talisman. Ken Griffey Sr. on the purple. Ken Griffey Sr., that is 15 out of 149. 15 of 149. Travis Bazzana on the prismatic. We got a blue Hai Sung Kim for the Dodgers. Blue Hai Sung Kim, that's 149 out of 199. That is David Shields. Here is our color blast. It goes this way. No, it doesn't. It goes this way. And it is a nice one for the Boston Red Sox. That is Christian Campbell, rookie color blast for the Red Sox. Nice hit for Boston. Nice hit for Boston. If the Red Sox are here, let me know if you want that in a one touch. Matter of fact, I'm going to put it in a one touch. It deserves a one touch. There we go. Christian Campbell. Christian Campbell for the Red Sox. Nice color blast. And now, our redemption. Sensational Signatures Prizm Pulsar to 199. Card number 91. That is Luis Baez. It says Luis Baez, outfielder. I believe that Luis Baez is Houston, but we're going to grab the checklist. 2025 Prizm Baseball Checklist. There's two Luis Baez's. So we're going to check this one. This is Sensational Signatures. There it is. Card number 91. Luis Baez. This is the Luis Baez for the Houston Astros. Luis Baez to 199 for the Astros. And we are on our last box. Let's do a little maintenance there. In our last box, 2 solid rookies on our snakeskin and our color blast. One, two, three, four, five, six. Last 12 packs. Here we go. Pulsar, Matt Shaw for the Cubs. 358 of 499. Chase Davis, Red Wave. Cam Smith on the Dingers. $358 out of $499 in case I didn't remember if I said it or not. Blue, that's Daston Hill, Minnesota Twins, 48 out of 199. Grady Sizemore for Cleveland, silver. Kellen Lindsay on the Fireworks. We'll get a full recap in after this. We got a checkerboard of Jose Canseco going to Texas. Jose Canseco, our first auto. That's 48 out of 99 for Jose Canseco. Our first auto goes to the New York Yankees. First auto of this last box, New York Yankees. That is Kyle Carr on the Prismatic Pulsar Auto, 189 out of 199. Kyle Carr. We got James Triantos on the Prismatic. Tom Glavine, Atlanta. That is 369 out of 499. Will Wagner, silver. Talisman of Marcelo Mayer. That is a red Brett Saberhagen for Kansas City, 254 out of 299. Kobe Mayo, that is a red wave for Baltimore. We got a red dingers of Tommy White, that's to 199. That is for the Oakland Athletics. That is 163 out of 199 on the dingers. Carter Jensen for Kansas City, 347 out of 499. Nick York on the silver. Braden Montgomery on the dingers. Last 6 packs. Here we go. We got black gold. We got black gold. I'm not sure if it's an auto or not. Good luck. That'll be to 5. Black gold to 5. Aiden Miller on the prismatic. Grady Sizemore. That's on the Pulsar. Let's do this black gold. That is Ian Kinsler on the black gold for the Texas Rangers. 4 out of 5. Ian Kinsler, 4 out of 5. Nice hit for the Rangers. Wish it was one of the big rookies, though, for the Rangers, not Ian Kinsler. Five packs to go. Andy Pettit, red. 253 out of 4. 299, excuse me. That is Paul Skeens on the silver. Dingers of Jace Lavalette for the NIL spot. We still have 2 autos to go. I think we found one here. That is Bud Selig for the non-MLB other spot. Non-MLB other spot. That is Bud Selig. 37 out of 75. Yep, we got an auto there. We'll save that. Bubba Chandler on the Talisman. Right there behind that yellow card. That's my sweat card. Y'all seen it before if you broke with us before. That means we got something good. Brett Saberhagen for Kansas City. That is 336 out of 499. Sebastian Walcott for Texas. Silver Prism. Deion Sanders Prismatic. Two packs to go. Just in case the next auto is in here. It is a Mojo auto. It is. It's right there, Mojo auto. Behind Andrew Jones. Barry Larkin on the red. Barry Larkin. That is 83 out of 299. Brett Saberhagen on the red wave. Christian Moore Prismatic. That means that's an auto to 25 to finish the break. That's going to be nice, I hope. I hope that's going to be nice. Last pack. Then we got our last 2 autos. Last pack and then our last 2 autos. Here we go. Purple, Dylan Cruz. Nice hit for Washington. 29 out of 149. Kellen Lindsey, Silver Prism. Dylan Cruz on the Talisman. We got 2 cards to go. 2 cards to go. Both autos. Here we go. First one up. This is a sensational signature, not numbered. Is it a legend? It is a second year sensational signature for the Angels. That is Nolan Shanuel. Nolan Shanuel for the Angels. And our last auto of the break. Mojo auto. Let's get Andrew Jones out of the way. Mojo Auto. If that is who I think it could be, I'm going to go nuts. As a Yankee fan, I'm going to go nuts. Because that sure looks like Mariano Rivera. That is Legend Auto Mariano Rivera for the New York Yankees. That is 5 out of 25. And that is getting one touched. Hey, Todd. Did you get your Red Sox tonight, my friend? Mariano Rivera, Mojo Auto. That is super sick. Wow. Wow. Talk about nice. All I had to do was see the eyes as a Yankee fan, and I looked and I went, that's Mo. That is Mariano Rivera. Wow. How about those two tonight? Look at those two hits right there. Let's recap, but holy cow. What a break. Red Sox and Yankees sitting right next to each other. How disgusting. Todd, congratulations to you, my friend. Congratulations to you. And if that's you, Blah, congratulations to you too, buddy. Yeah, I didn't think you were going to get sick. All right, here we go, guys. Recap time. As always, show the cards. We won't call out the names until we get to 99 or less. Here we go. Your recap. Are you logged in under your mom's account or something, Blah? Is that why your name is different on the chat? All right, these are to 199. Dingers of Tommy White. Christian Campbell Prismatic. These are the 149. To 99. Huh. That's weird, dude. Alright, 1099, we got Jose Canseco, Kellen Lindsey, Colin Hawk. That's a firework of Ryan Waldschmidt, J.D. Dix, Christian Campbell for the Red Sox, and Pee Wee Reese. Todd had a really good break, too. It's the Dodgers, Yankees, and Red Sox tonight were really good in this break. Bud Selig to the non-MLB spot. Mike Schmidt, Josue De Paula, Ko-Shing Chang, and Andrew Jones. These are the 49. It's Greg Maddux. We had 1 to 25. That was Dalton Rushing. We had 2 Cherry Blossoms. Kansas City, Carter Jensen, and New York Yankees, Randy Johnson. We had 1 gold and 1 black gold. We got Kellen Lindsey gold fireworks, and that is Ian Kinsler on the black gold, 4 out of 5 for Texas. Our autos, not numbered, we have Nolan Chanuel, Ryan Waldschmidt, Theo Gillen. For the Yankees, George Lombard. For the Cubs, Jackson Wiggins. Boston Bateman for San Diego. Baltimore, Heston Kjerstad. For the Mets, Alex Ramirez. Brooks Lee for the Twinkies. Baltimore gets Enrique Bradfield Jr. and the Dodgers get Brady Smith. On the Pulsars to 199. For the Yankees, that is Kyle Carr. For Seattle, Gerangelo Cinchte. We got Mitch Jebb for the Pirates and Jesus Made for Milwaukee. We had a redemption to 199. That is Luis Baez going to the Houston Astros. We had two Mojo autos. Two Mojo autos, but this is the first one. Dante Nori to 25 for the Phillies. We had a snakeskin going to the Cleveland Guardians, and that is Andrew Walters. Man, both of these cards are really beautiful, but this one is probably a little bit less. I mean, it's my Yankees, and I can't believe I'm saying a Red Sox card is better than my Yankees, but that is Mariano Rivera, the greatest closer of all times, on the legendary Mojo auto. That is numbered 5 out of 25. And this young man for the Boston Red Sox is going to be special. That is Christian Campbell on the rookie color blast for the Boston Red Sox. There you go, Todd. Here you go, Blah. Congratulations to both of those spots. Congratulations to every spot that hit tonight. Thank you all for being part of the break. Hope to see you guys next time. Have a great afternoon and a great evening. See you later. Peace.